what's new in the police department's canine unit, and an update on the Ben Avery shooting facility. I'm Councilman Dave Siebert. We'll talk about that next on The Issues. Welcome to On the Issues. I'm Phoenix City Councilman Dave Siebert. One of my favorite canines has retired from the police department, and some new blood is helping Phoenix police find the bad guys. Please welcome to the show Phoenix Police Officer Jeff Gazelle and the newest member of the canine unit, Doc. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Officer Gazelle, it's been a while since you've been on the show with me, and I can remember the sad circumstances of you losing Hunter in really a job that he was trained to do, and that's to protect the life of you and the life of the other officers, and unfortunately he was killed in the line of duty. And so you've now had, what, 5, 6 canines in your career?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Could we talk a little bit, maybe start from the beginning of your career as a canine handler and talk about the different dogs, the good, the bad, and, all the great things that they've done?
Yes, sir, absolutely. I was accepted into the canine unit in 1989. The first dog that they gave me, we were on the street for approximately about 1.5 years, and the dog was a shepherd, and unfortunately the dog had some medical problems that later caused his retirement from the unit. But we had been out on the street for approximately about 1.5 years. After we retired that dog, I was assigned another canine, and unfortunately that dog washed out of our program through some problems that the dog had as far as going out and the ability for the dog to go out and find people. After that second dog was when I was assigned Hunter, and I was very fortunate to have that dog for just short of 5 years. And I'm sure some of the viewers might remember the incident back in 1996 that cost Hunter his life, but I can tell you he was one of the best of the best.
You and I had talked about it before, just the way Hunter was. I mean, his natural instincts to protect, and do you think that comes, some of it with training, or more of just a natural instinct of the dog to know to protect its master?
Well, sir, I think that was just a special dog. It might have been genetics, it might have been training. I just feel fortunate and blessed that I had that dog. I know he was the envy of some of the other canine handlers, and he was just an all-around great, a great dog.
And after that, I know we were looking for some money, and PetSmart was nice enough to donate $5,000 towards the next dog. And as I recall the story, and it's been quite a while ago, I think one of the sergeants in the PD in the canine unit found your next dog, Pako, and found Pako through a vendor in California?
Yes, sir, that's correct. Sergeant Jeff Fenton, who was since retired from the police department, was in contact with a gentleman, and he located Pako from a kennel up in California. And this gentleman had heard about the death of my previous partner, Hunter, and was in contact with Sergeant Fenton. And they got together and they took a look at Pako, and Sergeant Fenton was very happy and pleased with what he saw. So he was able to bring Pako back to Phoenix, and we were together for 7 great years.
Yeah, I can remember, when I saw in the council agenda that Pako was retiring, and of course you were going to get the dog for $1, which is typically what we do.
Yes, sir.
When medically they cannot continue on the street. And I thought, God, it just seems like yesterday he started, and I realized it was 1996. And
that's correct.
And you had worked with him for the 7 years, and I just remember the footage we had from 7 years ago. It's a wonderful, beautiful animal, and he's still doing well, you say? He's got a little arthritis? Or?
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, about 1.5 years ago, during one of the routine exams with the city vet, I noticed that Hunter was starting to, Pako was starting to slow down a little bit, and so when we went in for our routine exam, we did a full set of x-rays, and I thought it might be a hip problem. And our vet pointed out to me that he was beginning stages of arthritis in his spine. And unfortunately, it just has progressed to the point that it was necessary for him to retire from the unit. And right now he's living at home with me and kind of getting used to the retirement life.
And so he's getting used to the retirement life, and so you picked up what I think is just an absolutely beautiful dog, Doc. And can you tell us a little bit about Doc, the breed, and where he came from? And
Well, Doc is a Belgian Malinois, and he was a test case for our unit. This is the first Belgian that the City of Phoenix Police Department has purchased. He came from a kennel in Indiana, and the gentleman that owns the kennel encouraged us to try this dog. And our canine master trainer brought him back and was real taken with him. And I was next on the list for the new partner, and he pretty much assured me that I'd like this dog. And when I first saw him, I just saw nothing but 65 pounds of pure energy. And you know, I had some doubts, but it's been a great partnership so far.
when we were talking earlier, you were saying that this one was pretty much trained when you got it. Did they do a lot more training on this one than they did on your previous dogs?
Well, this dog apparently was trained by either the kennel or even possibly overseas. He had his obedience in. He also had some handler protection and search work. And we just took off with that and went through our training program and finished the program rather rapidly because the dog had previous training in him. We've been real proud of what he's done so far. To date, since September, I can tell you that we've had 8 criminal apprehensions, one of which was with our special assignments unit on a bank robbery suspect. And we were fortunate enough to be there and help get that suspect into custody. And he's done a real good job for us. He's learning every day, but he's going to be a real good asset to the canine unit.
And could tell us a little bit about what you've noticed about this breed, because it appears as if this is a test case, ends up working out well, there's probably going to be a lot more of this breed in the canine unit.
We already have another Belgian Malinois on the unit, and he's in training right now. They were a little bit cheaper than a German Shepherd that was offered back in that kennel in Indiana. This dog was purchased, I believe, for $3,000. The energy is limitless, and we've been real fortunate. This guy is as you can see, a very people person dog, and very social and an extremely hard worker. And we're just happy with what we see.
Well, he's just no doubt a very beautiful dog. You know, when I came over here, I was expecting, you know, because I'd never been around this breed before, and I was expecting something that looked a little darker, like the other dogs that you've had.
Right.
Walked in here and I said, that is just a beautiful animal.
Well, he's definitely a real good prospect, you know, with a long career with our unit. Very high energy, very intelligent animal, and hopefully down the road. Right now, we are just patrol trained. We go out and we look for the bad guys, but possibly in our near future, we may start a narcotics program with this dog. So we're happy with him. Very happy.
The breed itself, you mentioned narcotics. Do they have supposedly a real good nose as compared to other breeds?
I think their sense of smell is as good as a shepherd. I can see why a lot of the units around the nation and the military has gone to these dogs. They're the real deal. They do a good job. And as you can see, he's a social guy.
Hey, I noticed when I came in here, you know, some of the dogs that were in the unit before weren't that sociable. I mean, you know, you always ask the handler, you know, can I touch the dog? And you were always careful about that. I noticed with this one, let's face it, half of the crew here in the station were petting the dog. So it clearly is one that you know, I wouldn't be afraid to have little kids around.
Right. You know, the only issue this dog has is when he plays extremely rough. I'm rather fortunate in that regards because I have 2 kids at home, and my youngest is 11 years old, and this dog will give him a run for the money. They really have a good time in the backyard playing together, but he is a little bit rough. So.
How old is he now?
He's 22 months. He's still just pretty much a puppy, but he's
getting out of that stage.
He's getting out of the stage.
And you've had him since?
We got this dog in August, and we've been on the street since the latter part of September.
I notice when the canine unit gets the dogs, they're usually a year and a half old. Is that pretty typical?
Yes, sir. We try to look at a animal that's at least 18 months old, up to about 2 years of age.
So you're getting them where you know if there's any physical defects in their development, you don't have to worry about that.
That's correct, sir. You know, and when we get the dog, we usually try to get the guarantee from the vendor that if there is some type of problem, you know, as far as health is concerned, that the vendor will take the dog back and we will either get a refund or we will get a new dog.
I tell you what, it's like I said earlier, it's just an absolute beautiful animal, and I do want to take the opportunity again to thank PetSmart, you know, for the donation that they made for Pako, and hopefully they'll continue to support. I know they support with some food and other things.
Yes, sir.
Been just a terrific supporter of the canine unit, and of course in that terrible circumstance in '96 that they came to the forefront when we didn't have the money to spend, and they came to the front and wrote out a $5,000 check. So they may not remember it, but we do.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
So to all the folks at PetSmart, I want to thank them for the donation that they have made in the past, and hopefully the donations that they'll make in the future. But these truly are very good protectors of the city of Phoenix, and like you say, these are your partner. These are an officer, and I tell you what, it's just such a beautiful animal. He said, "Where's the cookie?" Where's the cookie?
Always looking for a handout.
Well, anyway, Officer Cazell, I want to thank you for bringing Doc in here. I know everybody's saying don't say it, but what's up, Doc? When we come back, what you need to know about the Ben Avery Shooting Facility. Stay tuned.